Okay. Salem Witch Trial Theories by Wyatt and Noah. The history of the Salem Witch Trials. Today we'll be talking about the Salem Witch Trials. The witch trials were hearings and prosecutions of women being accused of witchcraft in 1692 and 1693. Over 200 women were accused. 30 were actually found guilty, 19 of whom were executed by hanging.
Theory number one. One theory is that a slave named Tituba dosed the girls with Jimson weed that caused them to think they were witches, while others think it was encephalitis lethargica, also known as the sleeping sickness.
Another theory proposed by a behavioral scientist named Linda Caporal is that it was caused by bad bread. Some think that a fungus named ergot was on the rye bread caused people to hallucinate and think that the witches were among them. Ergotism can result in any of the following: irregular body movements, hallucinations, muscle contractions, vertigo, crawling/tingling sensations.
When talking about mass hysteria, some might bring up the Salem witch trials, from the very strict Puritan beliefs to the fears of paganism. It might have been a widespread epidemic of mass hysteria. It might have been older, more religious people that found some kids in the forest making a potion, and they went to the church and told the church that witchcraft was happening in the woods.
Theory number 4. Some feminist historians have interpreted the Salem witch trials as just another way of persecuting women who acted in ways that were different from the social norms of the time. It was the same reason for many witch hunts in Europe. Women were the primary targets of accusations during the Salem witch trials, particularly women who acted unusual for the era.
Some sources suggest that the girls may have been strange because they were frightened by a fortune-telling game, and at the time, children were restricted from almost all forms of play. They were expected to spend most of the time doing chores and studying their Bibles. This boredom may help to explain why Abigail Williams and Betty Paris became so interested in fortune telling, which allegedly was introduced to them by Tituba.
During the time of the Salem witch trials, there was the Little Ice Age that lasted from 1550 to 1800. This intensified between the years of 1680 and 1730. At the time, people thought that witches can control the weather. So combine this with the fact that Puritans don't get along well with witches, and you've got yourself the Salem witch trials.
The last of our theories is one that is very possible. Robert Robert Califf was a merchant who accused Reverend Paris of exploiting the trials for socio-political gains. If you look at how everything started at the Reverend's house, and Tituba could have been convinced to confess to the crime because she was a slave.